Hi, folks. Happy Sunday to you. This is Mark Smith with Family Tree Life Coaching. Have a good video today. The topic is midlife is prime time for pain and recovery. Many times I've been asked the question, if during my 20s and early 30s, most of my life seemed to be going along pretty swimmingly. Had an issue here, had an issue there, but nothing like horrendous abuse or neglect or abandonment or trauma. And there's a reason for that. I realize that I don't have my little whiteboard to draw with, so I'm going to have to just paint with words. Many of you have heard me explain. There's a reason why it's time to get to work in midlife. Once I was doing a men's group many years ago, and we went around in a circle. There were about 10 guys there, and we ask, when did you get serious about your recovery process? In other words, when did you start feeling the most pain? Every guy in the room said age 45. That's sort of the golden age of prime time, ready to work on yourself issues. So here's the reason why. Let me run it past you quickly. Number one, Mother Nature gives little kids defense mechanisms. And these defense mechanisms are very effective, and they help a kid to survive. Mother Nature doesn't want to freak out little kids. Many people, with some of the abuse that they experienced as a child, if they remembered it all and felt it all, it would have destroyed them before they got to adulthood. So, most of you have seen my circle with X's around the circle. That's a defense mechanism, and it's designed to protect little kids, number one. Number two, those defense mechanisms are designed to be in effect and at their full strength all the way through your 20s and halfway into your 30s. Why? Mother Nature has an agenda, and the agenda is for you in your 20s to fall in love, get married, and have babies. Propagate the species. Mother Nature wants you unaware, not in touch with your pain, very trusting of the universe, not realizing how painful life can be, so that you'll do something as insane as walk down an aisle with somebody. When I see a couple of 25-year-olds walking down an aisle getting married, I see two lambs being led to slaughter. And those of you who are in middle age, who've been married more than 20 years, know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't reached age 27, you don't know what I'm talking about, but you're wrong and I'm right. So there's that. So there you are, married at age 26, and then 2-3 years later you have a child. Let's say you have 3 children. You're 26. The enmeshment period of falling in love, there's usually a 7-year period. Let's say you date 2 years, you're married 5, you start to drift apart, but then you're knee deep in diapers. And let's say you have 3 kids, so you're married 5 years, puts you to 31. Add 15 years to get that 3rd kid into 1st grade. What does that put you at? Age 46. That's why people get busy working on their issues in midlife. It can start as early as 28 if a bomb goes off. I've seen people who are 28 do some decent therapy. It can happen in mid-30s, but the people that get the most work done in therapy are 40 and older, in my experience. I want to read an anonymous poem. I've read it on other videos, but it's brilliant. And so what I'm talking about is midlife pain, midlife marriage, midlife romantic love. And the people I'm speaking to are described in this poem. It's called The Wall. It's anonymous writer. Their wedding picture mocked them from the table. These two, whose lives no longer touched each other. They loved with such a heavy barricade between them that neither battering rams of words nor artilleries of touch could break it down. Somewhere between the oldest daughter's first tooth and the youngest daughter's graduation, they lost each other. Throughout the years, each slowly unraveled that tangled ball of string called self. And as they tugged at stubborn knots, each hid their searching from the other. Sometimes she cried at night and begged the whispering darkness to tell her who she was, while he laid there snoring like a hibernating bear unaware of her winter. Once, after they made love, he wanted to tell her how afraid he was of dying, but fearing to show his naked soul, he spoke instead of the beauty of her breasts. She took a course in modern art, trying to find herself in colors splashed across a canvas, and complaining to other women about men who were insensitive. He climbed into a tomb called the office. He wrapped his mind in a shroud of paper figures and buried himself in customers. Slowly, the wall between them rose, cemented by the mortar of indifference. One day, reaching out to touch each other, they found a barrier that they could not penetrate, and recoiling from the coldness of the stone, each retreated from the stranger on the other side. For when love dies, it is not in a moment of angry battle, nor when fiery bodies lose their heat. When love dies, it lies panting, exhausted, and expiring at the bottom of a wall that it could not scale. Does that resonate with anybody in their 40s who's been married for 15, 20, 25 years? Midlife marriages can be mired in bone-chilling stagnation. There are two options, in my opinion. You can either resurrect your distant, dead relationship, or you can resign and move along. What people did in previous generations was simply to live in disconnection and stay married for the kids, which ensured that the kids would grow up and basically have that same marriage. Whether a marriage can be raised from the dead really is a question of three variables. One is, how workable is one partner. Second is how workable is the second partner. And the third thing is how good is your therapist. There are 5 qualities that I look for in workable partners. One is they are highly motivated to work on themselves because they know who they are, they know what their issues are, and they're disturbed by it. Many times I'll get a man in a therapy room and he's just coming to save his marriage, and I look at him and he's in a nice suit and he makes a lot of money, and I said, Joe, do you know how fucked up you are? Joe about falls off the couch. Therapists aren't supposed to say naughty words, but I wanted to punctuate the sentence. And he rightfully, truthfully says, not really. He has no clue who he is and what his dysfunctions are. People come to therapy, in my experience, to salvage their marriage. When they get there, we try to get them to get involved in a personal recovery program where they're motivated to fix the problem. They fix themselves. We don't believe in marriage counseling at Family Tree Counseling Associates. We believe in recovery. We believe in 2 people rolling up their sleeves and getting to work on themselves. And if both are able to do it, then marital issues are really much, much, much easier to salvage and heal. The second quality people have to have is they need to be teachable. They need to be open-hearted. They need to have flexible defense mechanisms. When I teach them something, like I'm trying to teach you something now, they get it, they hear it. They go, aha, this guy's not a knucklehead. He's not just sharing psychobabble. The third quality people need to have is they need to be in touch with pain. After we complete our assessment, which takes about 3 sessions, and do our feedback session, which either takes an hour and a half or 2 hours, we throw the ball to the client, and then basically I'm asking them to come prepared for the sessions. I tell them, I got nothing. It's not my life. It's not my therapy. It's your life. You need to be aware of what the heck's going on inside of the 2 of you and come and share. So the first thing I'm looking for is your pain. Bring your pain. Share what hurts. Doesn't have to be about the marriage. Could be about dreams you're having. It could be about your childhood. It could be about your kids. It could be about work. It could be about a lot of different things. The second thing that I look for is really good, well thought out questions that pull the answers from me. The third quality people need to have is they need to trust the process. In essence, trust their therapist. And the fifth thing is they need to do their homework. I will assign them videos to watch, books to listen to, books to read. That's Mr. Pauly. He's got a bit of a cold. He was at the kennel last weekend, and he's got a little kennel cough thing that he picked up. If you've been hearing weird noises, the weird noises aren't me this week, I don't believe. So the goal is you to do work so that you can heal yourself. What happens is usually there's one person, age 42, age 41, age 47, who wakes up and they feel the emptiness, they feel the lack of connection. And the other person is still blissfully ignorant. They're spending 8 hours a week reading novels. They're drinking wine at night. They're binge watching Netflix. They're over-exercising. They're mainly overworking. They're over-involving themselves with the kid. They're finding some way not to feel. So the partner who generally contacted me and dragged the other person in is the one who's feeling the pain. And then they need to share their pain with their slumbering spouses This is a quote from an article that I wrote many years ago. For a marriage to be resurrected, two people need to simultaneously and enthusiastically embrace the radical reassessment and reconstruction of their personalities from the ground up. That's what therapy is. Reassessing who you are, re-engineering and reconstructing your personality from the ground up. Guy comes in driving a, Mercedes-Benz, living in a $500,000 home. He goes, what's there to fix? If it ain't broke, why try to fix it? Well, your wife's in tears. She's lonely. You got about 6 months before she leaves you, bucko. So you better wake up before it's too late. I like to tell people that, couples, that your lives are like a 10,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. And most of the people that I've worked with in 30 years only have it about, depending on their age, 50% put together, 40%. Some people who are real enlightened have about a 55% put together. When I'm done doing a family tree, I don't have one with me, but it's just one piece of paper. We use color coding, and we get all the information we can find on 4 or 5 generations. After that, I tell my clients I will have 85% of your jigsaw puzzle put together. Then during the feedback session, I will enlighten you. We will have a come to Jesus meeting. I tell my clients, when I used to go to the office, which I don't know if I ever will again, I would tell them, you will either learn something that I have to teach you after researching your family tree, or I will chase you out of the building. And I really don't care which one it is. I really don't. I prefer to not chase most of my clients out of the building. It might look bad for business, but good therapy is about truth. What you want to do is you want to find a therapist who's done their own work, who understands family systems, who has been through their own dark night of the soul, who's cried their own tears and done a great majority of healing the wounds of their childhood, who's very insightful, who understands patterns in family systems, who has the courage and the verbal edge to be able to slice you open and teach you something, who also can be empathetic and kind and gentle when your wounded little kid surfaces. Sometimes if we have a spouse who isn't particularly motivated, the spouse who sees the writing on the wall and sees the danger the marriage is in, many times we will coach them about the prospect of separating. Not separating to move toward divorce, separating to wake the partner up so that the marriage can be salvaged, because they need to wake up and smell the coffee. A lot of people think, well, I just can't afford, the cost of a good therapist. You could go through your insurance and get the $30 therapist, and that's a crapshoot. There's probably, some good $30 insurance therapists out there, but the vast majority of them aren't that good. They're on insurance panels because they can't get people to pay directly out of pocket because they're not that great. What you want is the best therapist in town, or one of the best therapists in town, and that's going to cost you. My fee currently is $200. Just recently had to raise it just because of all the the business that's been flowing in due to the virus and people being isolated, people being at home. Stress level has gone through the roof. The truth is, don't say you can't afford it. You can't afford to not do it. Do you know how much lawyers cost? Do you know how much it would be to sever your estate in half? How much it would cost you? And then you'd only get to see your kids half the time. And it's an emotional nightmare. So marriages at midlife can be resurrected, but you need at least one of the partners to wake up, feel their pain, shake the other partner to wake them up. You need to find a good therapist like myself or like some of the other therapists at Family Tree Counseling Associates, like my wife, Brenda Smith, with Renspire Life Coaching. And we will get you matched up with a fee level that's workable. I even have an intern now who his fee is $30, Vernon Billups, who is just pouring in everything I know about therapy into this guy, and he's very has great potential to be a fantastic therapist. So that's what I had to share with you. I'm going to go meet my best buddy downtown at Harry and Izzy's and eat shrimp cocktail with all the horseradish in it. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. Please visit our Facebook channel at Mark Smith Family Tree Life Coaching. And please reach out to me if you are in a lot of pain. The best way to do that is to text me at 317-507-8866. If you can't afford my $200 fee and you can only afford Vernon's $30 fee, so be it. I'll be supervising him. And there's lots of fee levels in between according to experience level of the therapist. Thank you for watching today, and God bless.